What's up, everybody? Colin, talking ball. You know where you're at. Thank you for being here. It's a Friday and it's a beautiful day. Kind of hot, depending on where you are. It's pretty hot where I'm at, but can't complain. It's Friday. It's Friday. You can't complain. And what's better than a Friday but spending it with friends? And I have two wonderful guests already here today. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to bring them right in. First, we've got Ellie. How's it going, Ellie?
Yes, Colin.
And,
You
and
know. Oh my God,
yes,
it's so hot in London as well. It's
yeah.
absolutely baking.
You guys don't have air conditioning there, really. So that's
No, I've got two fans going because I haven't got aircon, but I
yeah,
might invest in it because it's so hot. Oh,
yeah, yeah. I do not envy. I do not envy you. We have another person here, but they have turned off their camera for just a moment. So I'm going to give them give them a second to come back. I want their entrance to be a grand, a nice big,
yeah,
grand entrance. So real
yeah,
quick, we'll kind of just take a look at the comments. So far, I mean, we've got my mom in the comments saying, "Let's get this party
really,
started."
really
The
party
link is
started.
in the comments, everybody. If you would like to join, it is open for everyone. We have Jose here. He says, "Smash the likes on your way in during the show and on your exit. Give Colin some love, and if you haven't done so, subscribe."
That's
100%.
right.
Thank you very much, my friend. Hoping to see you on the show in a bit. Really hoping if you can pop on, my friend.
Oh my
We've
God,
also got
when?
Wayne Bonner. Wayne Bonner is a
Woo!
real one since day one. Nice to have you here, Wayne. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're keeping well, my friend. Um,
Wayne
the
Bonner.
person that we keep that was supposed to come on keeps leaving. And not she keeps turning off her camera and leaving. We'll give her some more time. Hope she comes back. But in the meantime, Ellie, let's just kind of jump into this here. Um,
Yeah,
Again, I want to say thanks to everybody who either watching this back on replay, watching it live. Thanks for being here and spending your Friday with Ellie and I. Oh no, here she comes. Let's get her added before something else
yay.
happens. We've got my mom,
I'm
Woo!
aka
having issues
the
and I'm
other
having
biggest
weird
Spurs
audio
fan in
things going on.
Indiana. What's up, Mom? Oh, are you still there? You there? Can you hear us? Okay.
I don't think she can
Nope.
hear
No.
us.
Yeah, I can
No
hear you
sound.
okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, you're okay. How's it going? Everything good with you?
Yeah, things are really good. Thanks. Just checking in from work, so I can't
Good.
stay very long, but I just haven't been on one of yours for a long time, so I wanted to pop in.
That's
We
it.
appreciate
Mama
we appreciate
Stevens.
having you. Yeah.
Yes. She's in the
So real
house.
quick, I want to get your opinion on like the season so far and Ange Ball. You enjoying it?
Gosh, who wouldn't enjoy it? It's great.
Yeah. Quite a stark change between this and
Uh,
Mourinho and
uh,
Conte.
yeah. The stress level has gone way down.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love that.
Blood pressure, not as much need
And
for the blood pressure
I don't
medication.
have to spend days staying away from my computer after a game because I can't stand to see the moaning and complaining.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
another very very good point. Um, it used to be a pretty toxic place after
yeah,
matches. You didn't
Can
want to
be.
go.
Yeah. It's so much more fun to, tune in and see, matters being, nominated for player of the month and, stuff like that. That's a much happier thing to read about. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yep,
definitely.
absolutely. Um, and
Absolutely.
Matters' family. Speaking of Matters, just how do you feel about him on the team? And we'll start with you, Mondi. Did you think you were gonna like him as much as you do, or do?
me,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I actually was really, really, really excited, tried not to get my hopes up when we were looking at him because, you know, I've just always liked him. I've always rated him as a player. And so, I was real happy to have him. So, and I can't
we've
believe
been
how well he's just slotted in, man. He has been the missing link. It's been everything we needed it to be. You know, you know how much I used to love, Christian Eriksen. So, I like that kind of a player. I like that creative, playmaker in that position. So, and I've been, missing it for a long time. So it's great to have it back.
I might be speaking a little too soon, but he's looked as good as Erickson for me. I don't want to say better yet. I know it's a little early days to be saying better, But I mean, I think he's looked as good as Erickson, slotted into the show as good as Erickson. You know, and what do you
As
guys
good
think?
as he'll have to have consistency for a period of time before I'll say he's as good as. But yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Ellie, you agree though that he's off to a good start and on his way to you know, kind of catching the same heights that Erickson did for us.
Yeah, and I like to big him up even more because, like, I would say he's got more skill set than Ericsson, right? It's about the same level of vision, right? But there's certain things that he does that ahead of Ericsson. It's like finding spaces and his link up play with more players. Because Ericsson used to have his favourites who he used to play with, especially Dele Alli. If you didn't notice, right, he used to play a lot with Dele Alli, but this guy, he links up with everybody, and he's very well liked in the club as well. You can see that the players absolutely love what he's brought. He's brought a new flavour to our side, and it's so exciting to watch because you know that something exciting is going to happen each and every match now. Like before, we were looking for the exciting stuff, maybe one every 10 games if you got that. But now it's every single match. And it's not just from Madison, it's from other players as well. They're stepping up as well, especially young Sarr. I like what he's doing.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I watched some compilations of him just to give me a better feel. Because, you know,
I have to pop away too.
Okay, no problem.
I'll come back. Bye.
Absolutely. But all right, so Ellie seems to have frozen. We were talking about Sarr and kind of the way that he's seamlessly, it seems, slotted into the team. Oh, Ellie, you're back. I lost you for a moment there. Can you hear me okay right now? I cannot hear you. Oh, I think I hear you
sorry,
again.
my brother just called me. Sorry.
You're all good, my friend. No worries. I'm just glad you're okay.
My brother always calls me to discuss Spurs, so I told him I'll call you after. It's
That's
like our daily chat.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing some time with me too. I do appreciate.
Oh man, I'll always spend time with you, Colin, because I love you. You're a lovely guy, but your show is fantastic as well.
Thank you very much. It's low key, but that's what I like about it.
Brilliant.
But yeah, Sarr, as you were saying, I mean, he's done brilliantly. He's stepped in. He's looked like he's been here for years. I'm really impressed. What this, you know, he looks so slight and skinny, and like he might not, you know, have the strength needed for the Premier League. But boy, I was wrong. You know, he's strong as an ox. That kid. You know, he's great.
He really is. I like what he's done because he stepped into the Højbjerg role, and he's even doing more than. I mean, I love Højbjerg. Don't get me wrong, but this kid, he's got more of an engine, and he can get back and he can go forward. So he's a box to box midfielder, but he's also competitive, and he gets in those right areas, which I love. Come on, it's all looking good, isn't it, Colin?
It really is. It really is. And I mean, we've all talked a bit about, you know, Højbjerg's, like, I don't want to say limitations, but limitations, I guess, kind of. You know, sometimes, you know, we've got another guest. I'm just going to bring him in. I'm just throwing people in today. Hello. What is up? How's it going, man? How's it going?
All good. Going well. All good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Doing real good. And we got another guest here. My mom's back. Josh, this is my mom. She is my first ever streaming partner. She's one of the biggest Spurs fans I know. And yeah, glad to have everybody. I always love getting people all in a room together that probably wouldn't ever be in one together under normal circumstances. So everybody, you know, we all get a chance to make new friends today. Yeah. So Josh, real quick, we were talking about Sarr and how he's slotted into the squad. Are you surprised at all? Just with, you know, last season how he couldn't really get a sniff under Conte. This season, we're seeing a lot of him. I mean, are you surprised by that fact? Or did you always have a belief in him?
I think I'm surprised just because of how old he is. He looks like he's been playing in this Tottenham side for 5-6 years. I mean, but in reality, it's literally his first season as a proper starting 11 player. I think what will be better is if he's got a bit of a competition. I want to see how he works under the likes of, let's say, Bentancur competing for his position. Obviously, we're waiting for him to come back, so I think that'll be interesting. But regarding Pape Sarr, I think unbelievable player. I don't want to jinx anything because obviously we have Skippy, who he was also phenomenal at his age, but then dropped off a little bit. Um, and I feel like we always have these good stars who are young, but then they never reach their full potential. And I truly believe Pape Sarr is one to watch for the future, and we still have a lot to see from him, and there's still a lot to come.
Yeah.
Very, very nice answer. Very well rounded. I like that
Yeah.
answer a lot. I think that we're gonna definitely miss him whenever he goes to the African Cup of Nations, along with Basuma as well.
Yeah.
That's going to be the time where we really, really need Bentancur to come back strong. We're going to need Højbjerg to step up. That's going to be a kind of a tough time for us. I think we'll struggle a bit. Mom, we'll turn to you real quick. Do you have?
I'm sorry, I lost you. I can't hear a thing you're saying. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pop out. Oh wait, there. Okay. I can hear you. There you go.
Bentancur and Højbjerg. Do you trust those two in midfield whenever we've got Sarr and?
Yeah, I think I do. I have my reservations about Højbjerg. I think the kind of player he is extremely good in certain systems, but maybe not so much the way we're playing now. However, I also see him as a really hard worker. So I think that maybe it's just going to take a while for him to adjust to the system and get a little bit faster and think a little bit more forward thinking. He's just very much, I mean, he's a bull and he stops the play and he's so strong on the ball and can, take people on really well. But I think during that Fulham game, I was just so sick of watching him pass back and pass forward. And it's like we were clicking somewhat. And then it was like the ball hit mud and slowed down when it got near him. And I feel like, but I really believe that, I think Bentancur will do just fine. When he'll have an adjustment getting back up to true fitness, but I think that he'll play great. And I think Højbjerg has his role and, definitely when we're trying to hold on to a lead, he's great, but I do think that he's just not as fast as the system kind of demands at this point.
Yeah, that is true.
There'll be a bit of a step down in quality, I think, at that time. For
it's
those
a different
matches.
quality. It's not a step down in quality.
Yeah.
It just changes the complexion of the game really badly.
It's
I mean,
sets, isn't it?
But he'll adjust.
With you with Højbjerg because I love him as a player because I've always loved that type of player, the competitive player, the one who gets stuck in. I've always seen a place for him. But with handball, it's different because you have to be quick. And he likes to take his time. He likes to step on the ball and see what's on, right? But by that time, the quicker players, they've got bored. And they, it's not a bad play. Just he's not as quick as the Sarrs and the Madisons and the Basumas. And also Bentancur when he comes back because he's very front foot, So we've got a plethora. We can use different skill sets for different moments. Like your mum says, there's a role for him, but not as important as a role in a defensive system.
It depends on how you see it because
a lot of it's really gonna depend on how Bentancur comes back from this injury. Hopefully he comes back well. I think he will, but it's really hard to tell. There's always going to be kind of question marks there. But I guess this is a nice segue. Speaking of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, apparently he scored a goal. Was that yesterday that he scored?
An important goal as well.
Against San Marino, but
no opposition really.
But still, I mean, the goal needed to be scored.
Yeah.
They ended up winning that 1-0, right? So it wasn't 4-0. Like they blew San Marino. Okay.
4-0.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Ericsson created 3 of them.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. I always love to see Eriksson playing well. I'm sad that it didn't work out that he was able to come back to Spurs.
Yeah.
But maybe that wasn't the right move anyway. So it might have been
He seemed
good for
pretty
all parties
disenchanted
involved.
when he left. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
he sure did. Yeah, and Josh, I mean, you were there. That last year or so of Eriksson's tenure with us was not pretty. It kind of coincided with Moussa Dembele leaving, I think, but he just wasn't nearly as effective. You glad that we've got Madison now? I mean, is Madison in your eyes, is Madison close to reaching those Eriksson heights?
I mean, look, I love Madison. I think he's a fantastic player, but I feel like the caliber of Ericsson, the type of player he was, the only one who I'd say is close in terms of quality is probably like Moussa Dembele, but he's also so far ahead of Ericsson. I don't think Madison is on that level yet of Ericsson because of what Ericsson produced for us, the way he created, the way he was a box-to-box player for us, came back to defend, went up to attack, possession of the ball. He was like a Højbjerg, Madison, and Basuma all together.
Yeah.
But I think Madison really is a quality player going forward. He offers us the ability, you know, to create and not need and not to need the striker to drop deep when needing to score goals. But the difference between Ericsson and Madison, the main difference is that Madison is mostly forward and collects the ball from Bissouma or the central defensive midfielder and then provides it to one of the attackers. Ericsson would be the one who actually goes from the back. He's like a Harry Kane who plays as a central midfielder. But overall, I think Madison is probably the best player we could possibly sign for a Harry Kane replacement, and he's not even a striker.
Yeah.
100%. Harry did so much of that work where he would pop up, you know, exactly like you said, like right in front of the defense, and you know he would transition us from defense to attack so well, and then somehow end up back in the box to score the final goal. He was something else. But you're right. I think as soon as we got Madison, we should have known that Kane was going. I think that was a big indicator, you know, that Kane was out the door. I didn't want to see it.
Agreed. But could you imagine those two together? We'd be unstoppable. Just unstoppable.
With Dembele
people said that last year, though. People said that last year about the front three of Son, Kane, Kulusevski, and then the midfield of, you know, when we had Højbjerg under Antonio Conte. You know, people have said that every single year about us, but we're never on top. And you know, it's all about that. Too much of a high expectation from us Tottenham fans. We're way too much expecting, you know, us to finish top 4, top 3. We forgot to do the basic things, which is progress in a Carabao Cup. You know, we forget about that. That's the most basic thing from a football side, from a Premier League side. You need to progress in these rounds, and in order to compete in a highest level, you need to show that, you know, you are able to do that. And when you start a game against Fulham, it's not against Colchester. If it's against Colchester, and you know you're changing up 9, you know, players, I'll be like, all right, fine, I get you. But you're playing against Fulham, a proper Premier League team, arguably a top 7 team. I mean, it's a bit of a howler there, but yeah, I had a bit of a stinker there. But look, high expectation, too much of a high expectation for Tottenham fans.
Yeah, but you know what as well, I'd like to add to that. When we had Bentancur and Højbjerg playing in midfield, it was just 2 of them. So they were doing the work of 4 men.
Exactly.
It wasn't fair on them. So you didn't see the very best of that midfield. But when you see like Madison, Basuma, and Sarr, and then you've got inverted midfielders in Porro and Udogie, that's 5 in midfield. That is strong, right? So we can create more for our front 3, and it's showing because we've got a +7 goal.
We couldn't get it through the midfield before.
We couldn't. That it continues. No, we couldn't, because
there was always the pinging long shots, because that was the only way to get through the midfield at that point. You know.
Do you know when it was more evident? When we played Arsenal at home, and we only played 2 in midfield, and the attackers, the wingers, weren't helping, and Kane was having a bit of a stinker as well, and until the second half when he woke up a bit. But you can tell they were just walking through our midfield. It was hard for our boys to stop them, because Kulusevski and I forgot who was on the other side. I think it was Perisic. It
was Perisic and Timon Son, Oh, for Fulham.
No,
we're talking about
game at home when we lost.
Arsenal, so Perisic.
They just walked through our midfield. Yeah, because the boys weren't getting help and it wasn't fair on them. And there was a lot of matches like that. The Man
Yeah,
United
so
game
many.
away, everybody was
Mhm.
doubting Højbjerg and Bentancur, but they're doing two lots of work. It wasn't fair, and Conte left them exposed. But that in some games it worked because they are fantastic footballers together. All right, Højbjerg's not as skilled as Bentancur. Everybody knows that, but he can do that role very well, that defensive role. You know,
It's
Definitely.
also
It's
very,
all it's
very
all going to
annoying
be a
when he's there
balancing
too.
act. We're going to need all of the midfield players throughout this season.
Yeah.
yes, agreed.
You know,
They've all got
AFCON,
different
of
skill
course.
sets.
Yeah, and they've all
Yeah,
got a role to play. And I think
yeah.
that, Postecoglou did kind of drop the ball against Fulham, but I think he is a smart guy. I think he is gonna, be able to put out competent midfields. No matter who we've got available.
Yeah.
I'm
That's it.
excited to see how
We
he
should be
handles it.
starting we should be starting this team every single game now. We don't have anything to lose. We only play one game a week.
Yeah.
Playing this team is fine. And by the way, what you said about the midfielders being isolated is also our wingers, which was our main priority as under Conte, and the fullbacks. They weren't being utilized. I mean, and not just being utilized. They
No.
weren't quality. There was no
Mm-mm.
quality in Emerson Royale. There was no quality in who was the left hand side. It was Perisic. No quality in Perisic. Dropping back, there was zero there. Then we got front, and we got Kulusevski, who for first 6 months, yeah, pretty good, but then dropped off. The left hand side was who? Who was on left hand side? What was it? Sonny, who was off form. It's a big
It's
difference now that we're
Sessegnon,
playing
isn't it?
five in midfield.
Sessegnon was always injured.
Or
And he wasn't
Sessegnon, yeah,
taking, he was a waste of space anyway because he wasn't taking on his man. He was
yep.
checking and passing it inside all the time.
Yeah, what happens? I don't know. We could have a long conversation about that guy. I mean, he seemed like he was so good for Fulham in the
Oh my
championship,
God.
helping
Yeah.
them get back up. But he's just not, he's just not doing it. He not doing it for us. And maybe the step
It's
up
like he
was too
progressed
big,
to a
too
certain
fast.
point, and
Different
then
level.
the injuries and everything, he just couldn't go past
True.
that.
Like,
There's kind of this theory, like with jobs, that you eventually end up bad at your job because you get promoted
Yeah.
and promoted
Yeah.
and promoted, and eventually you're
Yeah.
promoted to
You-
a job that's above your head. And maybe the same kind of thing happened with
yeah, it's
Sessegnon.
different levels, isn't it, Colin? Because when you play in the Championship, even Skip, when he was on loan to Norwich, he looked like a world beater. He was like springing passes everywhere. But then he came to Spurs and they gave him a different role, obviously, but he didn't progress, right? And he's regressed rather than progressed. And now we've got Sarr who's taken his spot. So if he's gonna win his spot back, he has to start passing it forward rather than sideways and backwards.
I
Yeah.
kind of don't see him ever being
Good enough.
integrated into the team
Yeah.
ever again. I just don't see it happening.
I kind of agree, especially with this new, more progressive formation. And it's sad
And-
because it's nice to see an academy player come through. It's nice to
Yeah.
see that. It's always,
True.
we love it. But yeah, I cut you off really bad there. What were you saying, Ma?
Nothing. I would love to stay and
She's
talk,
frozen.
but I've really
Josh,
got to
real
get
quick,
back to work.
do you see Skippy being able to come back into the fold at any time?
It's going to be hard for him to come back. I personally, this is my personal opinion. I think he starts over Højbjerg. I feel more comfortable with him starting ahead of Højbjerg, but it depends on the game. If the game is aggressive, I'd start Højbjerg. But with Skippy, we need to think with our head and not with our feelings with him, because it's a bit of a touchy player. I personally have said many multiple times that he should go on loan to a Premier League team. I believe in loans to the league you are in. Therefore, if you're a La Liga team, you should be in a La Liga team because you want to be played in a La Liga. Same thing with Premier League. I think the way you see with Ollie Skip is that he's got around 5 midfielders ahead of him. You got Bentancur, Bissouma, Madison, Sarr, and Højbjerg. Let's face it. It's five midfielders ahead of him. Does he have really a future? Depends. And then you've got Lo Celso as well, who plays a very similar role to him, although yeah. So I don't really see much of a future for Skippy, and I think we should cash in on him as soon as possible, or just do something, because number one, he's also homegrown. That's the thing you got to remember. He's homegrown, and we're struggling with that at the
Exactly.
moment. So
Yeah.
that's another factor to take place. But I think in general, either cash in on him or keep him for homegrown. I guess.
Oh,
We don't
everybody's
really do that.
freezing a little bit today. Josh, I'm sure you're still here. Sorry about that. I think it's my internet having a little bit of an issue today.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree with you, man. I think that he's definitely still here because of his homegrown status. I think his homegrown status is kind of keeping him alive at the club.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe he makes like a big improvement in his game, a big jump in his development as a player. We'll see. I don't see it happening like you
can't
guys,
see it
but
either.
again, you can't
He just
count
hasn't
it
got
out.
the skill set, Colin. He hasn't got the
No.
skill set. You know,
Right.
he's a competent player. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing exciting about him in terms of the way he plays football, but he's an effective player because he keeps it going. He's a bit like Harry Winks, but with a little bit more. You know,
Yeah, a
he's
little
not
bit more
much
bite,
better.
a little bit more
He's got a little bit more aggression.
defensive
He's got a little
ability.
bit more about his game, but I just don't see him progressing because he hasn't got that skill set, and he's quite slight in his
Yeah.
build as well. Yes,
Hey,
Jose's here.
Jose. Yep, Jose's made it. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, we've just been talking about Skippy, but I kind of wanted to kind of jump, slightly pivot, but not much. We've seen that Alfie Devine looks to be, getting some chances, getting some looks. I believe he trained with the England, the
England, yeah.
England national team. Yep.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So I always put this cheesy thing, but will he get any chances under Ange this season? Do you think? Do you guys expect that we'll see him
He's
second
gone out
half
on
of the
loan.
season?
He's
Maybe.
gone out on
He's
loan,
on
Cole.
loan to Port Vale, isn't he?
Yeah,
Is
going
he
out alone.
seriously? Oh wow, that's embarrassing. We'll pretend like I didn't know that.
Him and Scarlett have both gone out on loan.
Yeah.
Are they both? They're both on loan at the
Yeah.
same club. That's wonderful.
No.
Different
Oh,
club.
okay.
But they're both out.
Gotcha. Port
Good
Vale.
afternoon, Josh.
That's League
Afternoon,
One, right?
Yeah. Port
Yeah.
Vale. He scored the winning penalty the other day. They let
Hey.
him take the penalty and he scored it. So come on,
Nice.
Alfie
Well, that
Devine.
was an injury time too. I actually
He's
do kinda
also a
remember
player who
hearing about
has to
that.
start running.
A player who what? I'm sorry, Josh.
He's a player who needs to get going at Tottenham. Like, it is what it is. He has to start getting game time. I think you got players like Dane Scarlett who's the same category. He has to get game time now. I mean, we're getting to a point where we've got so many youngsters, but they're not
Cutting up a
getting
bit there.
any game time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They're
agree.
still
I
young.
agree.
They're still young.
Yeah, but
Alfie
still, they
Devine-
need to get the game times. They need to.
Yeah, well,
they have
are.
to do this,
'Cause
otherwise they
they're on
won't get it.
loan, aren't they? They're going to get
Yeah,
game
no,
time.
I'm saying for the whole Richarlison thing, for the whole Richarlison amount of games he's played this season so far, I would have rather let Scarlett play those games than let Richarlison to gain experience. People would disagree, but I think
A little
it's
more
No, I
freezing.
agree
Hopefully
with you,
that'll.
Josh. I agree with you because he scored a worldie versus Shakhtar Donetsk.
Yeah.
Not if you're not a good player, you don't score that sort of goal. It's
Yeah.
brilliant the way he
the
took
fact
it.
the facts are though, and let's be straight. You look at the Premiership, and there's 20 teams in the Premiership. We've got two outstanding 19-year-olds in Divine and Scarlett. How many 19-year-olds are playing for their club's first team football in the Premiership? They're actually not. Now,
Zero.
there's 0 players, so the players need game time, and they've been sent out to get that game time. And you hope that they kick on with that game time, and that they come back a la Harry Kane did 10 years ago when he went out on a series of loans. He came back, was given a chance by Sherwood. He never looked back, and that's what we want to see, these players getting the chances. It's probably Ange has made a decision. And he said, these two boys are in my plans for the future, just not right now. They need to be playing. And he's let them go out there. And that problem seems to be with every club in the world, well, mostly English clubs, because I look at Barcelona and I look at the amount of under 20-year-olds they've got in their team, and it's just outstanding. And in Germany, they play youngsters in their first teams. It just doesn't happen here in England.
No.
And you also have to worry about Josh had to go, everybody. Thanks again, Josh, for being on. Really appreciate having you on, man. but yeah, you also have to worry about with these loans. You got to make sure that the team that the player is being loaned to plays a comparable style of football to what you're playing, because that, I mean, could cause huge issues. If a player spends an entire season learning a system that's nothing like the one they're going to be playing at their parent club, that could be problematic. So I don't know anything about Port Vale. I'm not going to pretend to. Hopefully, maybe you guys could.
Scarlett's gone to Ipswich, but what I will say, Cole, about these two players, two players are not just two ordinary 19-year-old players. These two players are elite players at their age, and have been. They just come back from playing the World Cup in Argentina for the under-20s, and they were elite players in that team in the World Cup under-20s. These two are elite players. They can play any system, anywhere. They're so young they can be coached as well. But I do get your point. I think Ipswich play attacking football, and Port Vale. I think both of the teams that they've gone to are like high up in their respective leagues, in position wise. I think they're second or third, or first and second in their respective leagues.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's great. That makes me incredibly happy, and I feel a little bit better about that loan situation now. Then, speaking of young talented people, Josh has been killing it. Yeah, again, hey Josh, thanks for coming on. We do appreciate you, my man. Yeah. Beer Talk, appreciate having you here. New subscriber, thanks a lot, man. Much appreciated. Real quick, another thing, guys, I'm kind of really jumping around today. But I had a couple things. We talked about Pierre's goal against San Marino. Way to go to Pierre.
Did Pierre score against San Marino?
Yes, he did. He scored the first goal.
No.
I wonder who knew about that.
I didn't know about that, but you did. Oh, Ellie's going to be in her element all day long.
It everywhere.
He got a goal. Hey, he got a goal. She. That's how I found out about it. Was Ellie posted it in one of the WhatsApp groups.
I know he's not the best footballer. I
must have missed it. Sorry.
Yeah,
I've been working.
Yeah, I know he's not the best of footballers. He's not up there with the greatest footballers, but I like him. I just got a special place in my heart for him.
Let me choose something here. I don't want to
cover. He's never let us down apart from that Fulham game.
Yeah,
he's not had stinker matches. Just put it apart from that Fulham game.
But that Fulham match, he just didn't look like he wanted to be there.
They were all because he wanted to get a move, but he didn't want to move to Fulham, which I agree with him. A lot of people were saying he's a big head. He didn't want to go. No, I agree with him. Fulham's below him.
Yeah,
especially when Atletico Madrid were in for him.
True. There's quite a leap there, between levels of club, Fulham and Atletico Madrid. I get that.
But you know what, Ellie? Right, with respect to Højbjerg, people were saying that Madrid were in for him. Madrid actually got rid of a couple of players before the transfer window shut, and therefore had room to bring players in. They never came back in for him, though.
Yeah, because we wanted more money. They couldn't afford him. They said with his wages.
Yeah, they ended up getting rid and making room in their squad so they could free up the money. But they never came back in for him. But they didn't go for anybody. They didn't buy.
Our game.
Yeah, but they didn't buy anyone else. Well, what also is they didn't buy anyone else either. So there's now room. There's now room for when the winter transfer window comes in. They're going to have room because they didn't buy no one anyway.
Yeah, I just hope they don't come back in for him.
We'll need him then. That'll be right around after. I mean, we'll need him then. We'll need him for the second half of the season.
We do.
Okay, but
he's experienced as well.
But Ellie, if he leaves, right?
Yeah.
What's your name going to be then?
All right, I'm going to use. You know what I'm going to do?
She divorces him.
It's a very hard one. It's a very hard one, but I think I'm going to be Queen Ellie Basuma because I love her.
There you go. So she divorced one midfielder for another.
Yeah, because he's brilliant.
I like it. Real quick, you guys. So did you hear, and I'm sorry to cover you up, Jose, I feel terrible. I'm covering your face right up there, but I did not know that Jota, the player that Postecoglou had previously.
What happened there?
I don't know. He's just got stuck, isn't he?
He's broken.
Oh, no. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
You're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Jota was turned down by Postecoglou at Spurs. And Jose, have you heard anything about this?
I haven't.
Chris Callan mentioned it yesterday on his show. I do watch it sometimes.
I haven't, but what I will say is I'm not going to say that Postecoglou Postecoglou bought him for Celtic and bought him for the league, had a player ready for that league, and the players that he's bought him for Celtic have played well in that league. I just don't think Jota, and I'm being honest, if you're going to bring in Jota, you might as well start Brian Hill, because they're both similar players to me.
Okay.
Very similar.
Gotcha. So you think Brennan Johnson is then a step up in caliber of player?
Well, he's something that Postecoglou wants, because if Postecoglou's asked for him and they went and spent 47.5 million for him, it must have been because he believes in something, he sees something there, and he wants him. But yeah, to me, Jota served the purpose, did really well in Scotland. It's the same as O'Reilly, who plays for Scotland at the moment. There were clubs that came in for him, but the clubs that came in for him from the Championship, no Premiership clubs came in for him. So obviously he's created teams wherever he's been to fit the leagues and suit the leagues he's been in. He obviously sees Maddison as a Premier League player, Vicario as a Premier League player. He sees all these players, and including Brennan Johnson as a Premier League player, and fancies them over some of the players that he's previously bought, because he doesn't feel probably that they fit the Premier League.
That makes me happy that he's not just going with what he knows, though, and going with like the easy options, that he's scouting and making sure to get players that are, gonna work in the league. That makes me happy. My bad.
I don't know. Do you know what I saw of Jota? Very good player, technically sound, good on the ball, brings players into play, can score goals. But that's in that league, so maybe Postecoglou doesn't think he's quite there for the Premiership, because he knows what standard of player he wants. And I think he would probably go more for Kyogo than Jota. Yeah, that's just my personal preference. I think he was more going for him, but it didn't work out. I don't know if Spurs made any bid, but I think Postecoglou liked that player even more than Jota.
Yeah.
There was 28 goals, if I'm not wrong. That's quite.
I still think it was weird that. No, that's an incredible goal return, no matter what league you're in. I do think it's kind of strange that we weren't really linked, other than with Gift Orban, to any like out and out strikers, and so maybe that was part of Postecoglou's plan and thinking was. Let's go with a more dynamic player who can play across his front three. We can swap everybody out. Everyone can kind of switch places and pop up where they would like. It seemed like there must have been a master plan there, because, like I said, we weren't linked with any out and out strikers other than Gift. I'm thinking that's hopefully the plan, is that we're looking to play some like really expansive. Really expansive attacking football where all players can kind of slot in all the positions. Jose, does that look like what it's going to be to you?
Yeah, totally agree with you.
Awesome. Yeah, hopefully that's the case. That's the football I like to watch the most, and I'm sure everybody here probably agrees. And I might, I think that's me. 1 second, guys. I want to put this comments up here and have you guys maybe talk about this for a second while I finish.
I was just going to mention Valise. I think that's how you pronounce him, Valise.
Valise.
Right, I think I've heard that the club, from a couple of sources that I know at the club, that he's been training with Jermaine Defoe, which is a really good thing, because he's going to learn a lot of how to play in the Premiership as well, but how to play a different style of football than he's been playing before, right? So I'm glad that Jermaine Defoe's taking him under his wing and he's working with the boy, because he's only going to improve from here on in, and we'll see him sooner than we think, especially with Richarlison not firing on any cylinders, so Richarlison's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because you think he would have done better, right? But he's just not hit the ground running, and he's only scored all the goals with his head, none with his feet yet.
Yeah, you've got the option up front. He's got lots of options. Midfield, he's got lots of options. Postecoglou, and with Valise, doesn't surprise me that he's doing the training and on the pitches and whatever, because I thought Valise we would probably see him second half of the season, making the bench and stuff like that. Once he's learnt the lingo, the chat, and he's learnt about the players. However, he's got a chance actually of making the benches. If he's doing well on the training pitch, he's actually got a chance of making the bench and making appearances even before Christmas. What a fullback you've got! You've got Richarlison, who may not be playing well, and if that continues, then you've got Son that can play down the middle, you've got Solomon that can play a false nine, but then you've also got Villiers that you can bring in as well, which means that if you then got to get rid of Richarlison, it sort of like softens the blow because you've already got Villiers there. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I agree. No, I agree 100%. I think if Richarlison doesn't improve a lot by like Christmas time, I think it might spell the end of him at Spurs, and we might cut our losses January for whatever we could pick up.
Carl Postecoglou's no mug. He may have cut his losses. He may already decided to cut his losses with them already. Postecoglou don't hang about. Postecoglou, he wants you to do it his way or no way at all. So
yeah, no, and I like that, and I like somebody that won't keep somebody around just for sentiment or to be a good guy.
We're still getting the crackling, but
Yep. And I'm not sure where that's coming from. I've changed my audio. Let's try one more time.
I think it's all right. It's a bit better now.
Okay, we'll keep it this way.
Maybe
We'll keep it.
it might be my fan. It might be my fan. Let me turn my fan off.
mute yourself. Just mute yourself for a second,
I'll mute
Ellie, and then we'll
myself.
see.
Yep, I think
Gone.
that
It's gone. Yeah, it's your fan.
Okay.
It's gone.
Ellie. Yep, that's what it is.
Now you're muted. We can't hear a word you're saying.
Oh,
Go on, Ellie.
it's just audio.
I can't turn my fan off.
Yeah. She's going to turn her fan off, Carl. Carry on.
Oh, Beer Talk says, I wonder if we may just be in for a really nice gift just after Christmas. I like that. I like that there. Beer Talk, yeah, I think you might be right. I think that we might be surprised. Unless Villiers can hit the ground running and I don't know, impressing people. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. He's obviously very athletic. He's very raw, of course, as a kid his age would be, but he's shown that he can find the back of the net. He's got a knack for scoring goals. That usually, I mean, that translates a lot of times from league to league.
He's a kid, Cole, but he was playing first team football for Rosario Central in the Argentinian first division, or their Premiership, whatever you want the equivalent. So, at that age to be a first team player, I mean, he's an out and out number 9. He plays as a target man, and that's what they're all saying. He plays as a target man. Obviously, we don't use a target man per se, not currently in the system that we play, but as a youngster, and he is very young, he's another one of these that you can coach and mold to play different. I mean, he's not reached his ceiling. He's not like 30 years of age and we can't teach him anything. He can actually learn lots at the moment, which is good. So his ceiling is going to be really high.
Is that better?
Brilliant. Yeah. Sounds perfect.
Yeah, you
sounds perfect.
Yeah, you turned them rocket propeller fans off.
No, there you go. It's so hot in here.
She had to turn off. She's got her jet in the back. She's top gunning it right now with those shades. Yep, absolutely.
You got a question from John Fitzpatrick as well.
Yes. Thank you very much. So who do you think has been the best passer of the ball in Premier League history? And I think Fitzy brought that up as we're talking about Eriksen, we're talking about Madison, we're talking about Kane. But I mean, we can go back.
The best passer in Premier League history is David Beckham.
Okay,
well, that's very hard to argue with.
I agree with you there, Jose. Ooh. I'm going to say Paul Scholes, brilliant passer of the ball. He wasn't underrated, but what they did, he always went under the radar for the greatest players in the Premiership. But he was always chosen, if you know what I mean. But a lot of people wouldn't vote him as their first choice. But in my book, what a player.
Like not the flashy option per se.
Well.
I think he was a great player, but
passing the ball.
If you were pinging the ball from the left to the right, from the right to the left, or from the back to the front and all that, Beckham was the governor. He was. He's just different class.
I disagree.
Fitzy agrees.
Okay.
Fitzy agrees with you.
I disagree.
Beck, I'll give it to you this way, Ellie. Real Madrid don't buy mugs.
No, they don't. But I
Real
think
Madrid buy Galacticos. Real Madrid buy Galacticos. They buy world-class quality. They buy players like Zidane, Figo, players like this to play alongside each other. If they felt that Scholes was a better passer of the ball per se and stuff like that, they would have bought Scholes rather than Beckham.
Yeah,
So
this can go to anybody in the
Beckham
chat
gives you
too.
different things as well. So Beckham wasn't just a good passer. I agree, he's a fantastic passer of the ball, no doubt about that. But he gave you other things as well. He was more classy. He was a classier, all-round player than Paul Scholes. He had different skill sets, and that's why he was a step above him.
His free
But
kick.
if you're just going on passing alone, I think he was equal. I think he was probably equal.
I don't know. Bex was gravy.
Yeah.
So you
Ryan
put
Giggs
Beckham
was talking to him and said he was the best. He said that he was the best passer that he's ever seen. That was Ryan Giggs. But it's a matter. It's opinions, isn't it?
Yes, correct. It is. Yeah.
all day. Yeah.
At the end of the day, I would choose David Beckham in my team more than Paul Scholes, 100%, because he could give you a lot more.
But Paul Scholes was a quality player because when you've got Xavi and Iniesta and all these boys coming out and they were saying, "Cool, we wish we played with Paul Scholes," because Paul Scholes was about 5 or 6 or 7 years older than them, and they said they would have loved to have played with him because they came in to playing football at the tail end of Scholes' career, and they said they looked up to Scholes. So you've got that endorsement from the top world-class footballers in Iniesta and Xavi.
Yeah.
So.
It doesn't get much better as
they like to stay at a club, don't they? Some players like to stay at a club all their lives because he was from Manchester, wasn't he? And he loved Manchester United, and he won everything with them, didn't he? He even did the treble with them. So, you know, I suppose he could have gone abroad, but he decided not to.
Sean Curran is saying Modric.
Yeah, Modric, not a bad shout. Not a bad shout.
Yeah.
Modric is really good at controlling tempo. I'm not sure if I would put him as maybe a better passer, but again, it's all opinions. I'd be interested to see if you put like just the numbers, and I'm too lazy to do it, but Beckham versus De Bruyne. I'd love to see, you know what I mean? I know that they're totally different players as well. But it would be interesting. I'd say that their passing percentages are probably comparable.
The thing with Modric, Modric's a good player in the Premiership, but became a better all-round player technically and everything. When he went to Madrid, his football went up 3 or 4 levels to where it is. And as I will say, what is he, 38 now? And he is absolutely he's just mustard in it. You just can't get the ball off him. And like Colin just said a minute ago, he controls games, doesn't he, Colin?
Yeah,
sure does. Absolutely, to this day. I mean, and he's getting up there in age, but he doesn't seem to be
fast as well. Little Modric, I saw him in the Champions League last season. He did a sublime ball to Benzema to create a goal. It was absolutely world class. But then I saw him later on in the game. It's quite late in the game as well, where you think that sort of age of player would tire, and he outpaced this really pacey winger. I can't remember who it was, but he outpaced him, won the ball, and then just turned on a sixpence and laid off the ball. It was fabulous. What a player.
Those Croatians, they keep themselves incredibly fit. Just judging by him and Perisic, they're both in great shape. Better shape than me, and I'm 30 years old. So, but yeah. Okay, you guys, I think it might be time.
Sorry, Carl, I missed it. Did you do the intro video again? That video you did yesterday, have you put that on yet?
It's just about that time right now. Actually.
Okay, sorry. Have a look at this video. Have a look at this video.
Or West Ham.
I saw it yesterday. Oh my God.
You'll get to see it again. Here we go.
Roll the camera.
Roll action.
3, 2, 1. Hey.
That is
Here's
so
another-
funny.
Absolutely brilliant.
I love it.
Thank you
I
so
love
much.
it.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun to make for sure. And it's been just entertainment for years now. Everybody loves it, and I can see why I love it too. But yeah, so I've got some harder ones today than we had yesterday. So I hope you guys are ready for some questions that I think might be difficult for you guys. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll do like an easy one, a hard one, an easy one, a hard one. But
yeah,
let's start with this one. I like this one. I kind of created this with you in mind, Ellie.
okay.
So here we go.
Oh no, what's coming? Oh no. Oh, right.
Steve Perryman. This is Gary Mabbott.
It is tough, right? It's a tough one because I love both players for different reasons. But
I know you're a Perryman fan.
Well, I grew up with Steve Perryman. He was my idol. Him and Glenn Hoddle. And he played so many games. He's made record-breaking games for us. I think 800 and something games, right? And also he's our most decorated player, and I love him. So although I do love Gary Mabbott, I can't put him ahead of Steve Perryman. So it's Steve Perryman all the way for me.
And Gary Mabbott goes to West Ham and
He
maybe
does.
has a wonderful career there, which is sorry,
I do
Gary.
love Gary
Good place to
Mabbott,
go.
though. That's such a hard one. Oh,
I know.
my heart's breaking.
I do it on purpose. I try to put you in these sweaty situations. But Jose, what do you got, my friend?
It's a difficult one.
It is. Yeah.
So Perriman's got some accolades over Mabbott, but then Mabbott's got some accolades over Perriman.
Yeah.
So Mabbott played for England a lot more times than Perriman did.
He did.
Perriman won silverware, but so did Mabbott. So yeah, it's a difficult one. But I suppose when it comes down to the amount of caps, the amount of appearances that you make for a club, there is a reason behind him being the all-time appearance holder. So I'd have to, regretfully, I don't want to get rid of him. I want to keep them both, but it'd have to be Perriman stays, and the other fellow who shall not be named has to take a taxi.
Hey, and at least it's not very far. He doesn't have to go that far, but he does have to have dumb bubbles blown at him all the time.
Yeah, but I don't want to send him that way.
Yeah, nope. I don't want
it. Stupid song.
I don't want to send anybody
Gary.
there. Yeah, no. West Ham is my least favorite team, so that's where this kind of has all come from. But yeah. So it looks like Perryman is the choice.
No.
It's unanimous. All right, so now let's go to a weirder one. Those were some legit club legends. You know, some people we really care about at Spurs.
He's frozen. You're going to come back, Colin?
Oh, we're in suspense.
We're in suspense.
Am I back? Am I back? Okay.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So this time we've got the opposite of club legends. We've got Yunus Kabul versus Vlad Kirikesh.
Straight easy one for me.
Is it?
Kirikesh to West Ham. There's no point debating this. Kirikesh, you go to West Ham. Kabul wore the shirt. Kabul wore the shirt more than Kirikesh did. When Kirikesh was on the pitch, he wasn't a footballer. I don't know what he was.
You remember that little? You don't remember that little flick up he did over? He was facing goal one time, and the ball came to him, and he so casually flicked it up above over his head, turned around. I don't know. He was the most casual defender I've ever seen in my life. Like I don't know.
It's funny though, because he left Tottenham and went to Italy and played for about 5 or 6 different Italian clubs. And he was playing, I don't know if he's still playing last year, but so he's still carving out a living out in Italy, playing for teams out there.
He's faking it.
It's crazy.
I would just give him his bus fare. I wouldn't even give him his taxi fare.
But didn't Kabul score the winner against Arsenal in a 3-2 victory that we had against them?
He did.
Kabul, yes.
Yeah. So
Kabul for that alone is staying.
Remember the
wasn't there some issue with Kabul whenever Pochettino came in? Was Kabul one of the players that Poch had an issue with and kind of vanished from the first team when he came in?
They said that the leadership group or the bad boy group at the time was Kabul along with Adebayor and players like that. There was a group that they were there, and Poch got him out, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
What was you
But
going
he
to say?
had a
Ellie?
good
You just like-
song though.
What was
He
you
had
going
a
to
good song.
say on the back of the ball?
Like I was going to just say, he had a good song, Kabul. Right? It was Kabul, Kabul, Kabul is on fire.
That's a good one. That is good. That is good.
He was,
I didn't
he
hear
was
it at the
okay
time, but
for a while. He was okay for a while. He was never fantastic, but he was okay. He was steady.
But he
Yeah.
done well. When Kabul left Tottenham and went to Portsmouth, he done well, Kabul at Portsmouth as well. So,
He
and
did.
Kirik, as I said,
He wasn't
Kirikesh,
a bad player.
yeah, he done all right. He done all right when he went to Portsmouth. But Kirikesh is still playing, or was still playing, carving out a career in Italy.
I got excited when
Problem
Kirikesh
was,
signed.
wasn't
He seemed like a wild, kind of a crazy man, and I like those on my team. But he was
Yeah.
part of that magnificent seven that came after Bale left, and
Yeah.
Who was he? Yul Brynner.
We'll always love him for getting that goal versus Arsenal as well.
Yeah.
And last time we beat them as well at their grand.
Yikes.
We came back from 2-0 down and won 3-2, and he got the winner.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Go Eunice. Go Eunice Kabul. Well, that was an easy one. Let's see if this one's a little harder for you guys. With this one, I'm kind of crossing a couple of different. It's two slight different generations here, slightly different. We've got Lucas Moura versus Jermaine Genius.
Lucas Moura all day long. Send Genius packing, mate.
Oh, really? You were that low on Genius while he was here?
Lucas Moura, for what he did in that semi-final, he's imprinted in our history for the rest of our days. He'll always be the semi-final. Will always be Lucas. Lucas got us to that final.
Ellie saw my celebration from whenever he scored that goal the other day. Yeah,
I post it everywhere. And the way he left us as well, he was so brilliant. He went out onto the streets of Tottenham to meet all the fans, walked down Tottenham High Road. That's the way to do it.
Scored on his final match.
That's right, and it was a brilliant goal as well.
I felt that Janus pimped himself out. He was a mediocre player that went to several clubs and that, and he was a jewel in the crown for Nottingham Forest when he started out at Forest, and there's so much touted about him. And then he went and played for Newcastle. He played for us, and then I don't know where he left us to go somewhere else. But yeah, he was never. I don't think he ever fulfilled his potential that he had at Forest when he went to other clubs.
Yeah, absolutely,
Always flattered to deceive.
Yeah,
and he always used to turn up against Arsenal and get a goal, and it kept him in the team. Like he scored in the League Cup at our ground, he scored at their ground. It's just one of those players that was quite annoying because he never quite did it.
He won a trophy. He did win a trophy.
Yeah, he won a trophy.
Fitzpatrick said Lucas played one game. Genius won a trophy. He's keeping Genius all day.
He actually crossed the ball for Woodgate to score the goal.
Yeah, I think Genius won a trophy, but he won the trophy because of the players that he was playing with.
He had Berbatov.
Whereas Lucas kind of carried a 2-1 to a final. Yeah, no, I could see both arguments there. I have a soft spot for Jermaine Genius.
Okay.
I know that he wasn't anything special, but it was at a time when we weren't attracting the exact same caliber of players we have now. Our midfielders weren't as good as the midfielders we have now. He's kind of a budget Dele Alli, if you think about it. His passing wasn't phenomenal, but he was pretty good at arriving late. He had a decent shot on him. I don't know. I like Genius.
Colin, do you get to watch Match of the Day out in the States?
No, we don't get it, but we do get crap. We do get crap of the day, which you're on right now. But no, I don't get the opportunity to watch Match of the Day.
Okay, so Match of the Day is a program here in England on BBC One. It's on every Saturday night, and it's on Sunday if there's games on Sunday, and they cover all the matches that have been played Friday, Saturday, and then on Sunday it covers the matches that were played Sunday, and then it shows you the goals from Friday and Saturday. And on that panel, on a lot of occasions, Genius is on there, and you would never have believed that Genius played for Tottenham.
Really?
Because he's so anti-Tottenham. He's not pro-Tottenham at all. He seems to be anti-Tottenham in a lot of the comments that he makes. So you never would have believed that he actually played for Tottenham.
I wonder if it's like Darren Ben.
Oh.
Yeah, but Darren Ben's different. Darren Ben's a gooner. He's a gooner, Darren Ben's a gooner, so he's different.
Yeah, he's a gooner.
Cost a truckload of money. wasn't he an expensive signing at the time, Darren Bent?
No, he weren't the most expensive. But he
No.
came in.
We
He
got
came
him
in
for
on the back of
18
having a
mil,
good.
didn't we?
Yeah, he came in on the back of having a really good season with. Was it Charlton? He came from.
That sounds right.
Charlton.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came
Yep.
from Charlton, had a really good season with Charlton when Charlton were first in the Premiership and that, and got a move to us. But then when he got moved to us, he was up against Defoe, Keane, Berbatov. They were the 4 strikers we had, and Bent was always number 4, and never hardly got a look in. And I felt that he was poor at Tottenham, Darren Bent, and it's probably because he didn't get as many chances. But he wasn't the striker he was at Charlton. And to be honest, after he left Tottenham, I don't think he was the player that he was at Tottenham anyway. I think he regressed. I think he got worse as his career went on.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Why? I'm trying to decipher why we had 4 basically starting caliber strikers. We were playing 2 up top. I guess must have been the.
Yeah.
But had we done that in our midfield as well, Cole, and in our defence, then we would have been the Man City back then that they are now.
Yeah.
Hey, by the
do
way,
you remember when he missed that sitter, Darren Bent, and Harry Redknapp said my
which
grandmother
one?
would have scored?
oh, yeah,
I was going,
yeah.
which,
But Harry Redknapp called him out.
I know, but I was going to say which sitter really because he missed so many.
Yeah, he did. He missed a lot.
Oh, real quick, we got Sean in the chat, and Sean, I don't know if I've ever seen you in here before. It's very nice to have you, buddy. It's a chaotic world, my channel, but I'm very glad to have you here. It's wonderful that you're deciding to spend your day here with us. Crap of the day, Ellie and Jose here with me. But yeah, he said not true. I've heard Gina's many times talking positive about Spurs, and I have too at times. Never on Match of the Day, but occasionally, like for pre-match stuff, he'll be on. If I'm watching, like a illegal stream I'm pirating from, over there in the UK. I have seen him on some things, and I mean, he'll occasionally speak positively about Spurs.
When the Champions League final was on, he was like gobsmacked that we got back into the game because he couldn't speak. He just couldn't speak. He goes, he just couldn't get his words out. He just couldn't believe.
You mean on the semi-final or the final?
The semi-final.
Yeah. There were so many. I mean, there were.
He was on the commentary.
Yeah. I saw Rio Ferdinand. There were quite a few people that were not on the commentary, but that were.
Oh my God, Rio Ferdinand!
Reacting, like they showed the reaction back in the studio.
Yeah, he nearly killed Glenn Hoddle.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was worried that he was gonna. That was right after his heart attack, I think. Right? I was worried that he was gonna.
Whacked him in the chest.
Yeah.
For John, we don't get Opta Sports here in England, but if he's on Opta Sports, I'm gonna have to see if I can get a stream or something to view it. I'm not doubting what you're saying, and Sean, I don't doubt what you're saying either. It's just that I find that when I've seen him, mostly on Match of the Day, other than any other channel, I don't think I don't get the feeling that he played with Tottenham before. But that's just my opinion.
Maybe he's pandering. Maybe he's pandering a bit.
I'll have to watch him now, but I'm saying to Sean and John, I'll have to watch a bit more and see what other comments he comes out with, and then it may change my opinion. But the opinion I've got and the gut that I get is that you'd never have thought he was a Tottenham player.
Interesting. Very strange. I wonder where
he
feels hard done by.
So he can say bye.
Yeah, he's got a West Ham.
Yeah.
Hey, here's an even tougher one, and this is going to be the final one of the night.
Okay.
We're hitting about that hour mark, so it's about time to wrap. Here's our final one.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
Oh no, shitting Ada. Oh sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. All language is allowed on.
Oh no. It's 2 different players, isn't it? But oh no.
Yeah.
But one of them did play with West Ham, didn't he?
Yeah, Greaves. Yeah. No.
There you go. Should we just send it back? Should we just send it back home?
I have to go for Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah.
Just have to go for him because he was in our. Well, he didn't make the double team. He came after we won the double, but he won the FA Cup. He won the European Cup Winners' Cup. He won the FA Cup again in 1967, scoring. But I just feel like he gave a little bit more because we only had Gaza for 3 seasons, didn't we?
Yeah.
right? And I think Jimmy Greaves just wins it just on longevity as well, but also for the style of player he was and the amount of goals he scored. I can't go against it. Although I do love Gazza, I mean, he was incredible footballer.
Yeah,
And just a ball of
he
fun
loved
too.
football as
Just
well.
energy and excitement and fun and
Yeah.
But you know what? Back in the 60s and that, Greasy was top boy and top fun as well. Greasy was just
Yeah.
a party animal. He was fun as well. I
Brilliant.
never got to see Greaves play in a Tottenham shirt. It was before my time. But I've watched a documentary on Greaves, and mate, he did it at every club he went to. He was outstanding. He was a goal scorer at every club he went to, and
he
he's hard
scored on
done by.
Sheffield as well, everywhere he went.
He was hard done by some of the managers that managed him. Some of them didn't get him. Some of them didn't understand him. They just thought he was an out-and-out goal scorer. But his link-up play as well for a forward was absolutely excellent. If you take yourself back and you look at the football, the way it was played on mudlark pitches and stuff, the footballs that they had were about 14 stone, which is about 70. It's about just over £100 in weight with the mud around the ball and all that. The ball became bigger as the mud got on the ball became bigger.
Heading the ball was like a legit danger to your life back then.
And the ball and the boots they used to wear and the muddy pitches, the pitches weren't pristine. So Greaves did it on all sorts of pitches. However, Gascoigne, I got to see him play, and Gascoigne was a magician. Gascoigne was the first person that I could see play football that would do the no look passes.
Mm-hmm.
So pass the ball, but not even looking in that direction. If you're looking somewhere else, and he's already sent you. I used to say sent you for a Swanee or sent you for a Burton. He's already sent you one way, but he's passing the ball the other way. But he was looking that way, and you're just like, wow. Gascoigne was quality. So for me, it's a hard one. It's a hard one.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'd keep Gascoigne because I've seen him, but then in my era. But then from the film and the footage that I've seen, I'd quite happily keep Greaves.
Yeah, you can't really go wrong either way with this one here, except for that West Ham are going to get an incredible player.
That's what I was just about to say. Can you not keep them both and break the rules, like Ellie said, or do you have to send one?
Rules for this
We had to send one. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm going to keep Greaves. I'm going to keep Greaves because he's still Britain's top goal scorer.
He can step in and do a job now.
Do you know what I'll do? Do you know what I'll
prime
do?
Greaves right now.
I'll keep Gascoigne and send Greaves because he already went there, and then like that between me and Ellie, we've got to keep them both.
Yeah,
I love it, guys. Love it.
That's very good logic.
It is. It's perfect.
We did ask Colin if we can break the rules, but Colin, as a good headmaster, said we cannot break the rules.
No breaking of the rules, guys. I'm sorry about that.
Breaking the rules.
But guys, I have work fairly soon, so I'm gonna have to jet. But before we close up shop, real quick, I'm gonna get this banner off here, but I'm gonna go around and I want you guys to tell these lovely viewers where they can find you. We'll start out with Jose. Where do you reside when you're not here?
Is he frozen?
Just kidding. Jose's frozen. So, Ellie, where can we find you?
Well, yeah, I think he's back.
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jose. Are you still there, bub?
He's frozen again.
He keeps freezing. We'll give him a second here. But
I'll plug him anyway because you can find him at El Tel Cacarel, and you can find me there because I'm a regular guest. Well, I've been on it once, but I'm going to be on it.
Let's get him some more subs, some more views, some more subs. Absolutely. Everybody head over to El Tel Cacarel. Give this guy a sub. Give this guy some likes on his videos. Are you back with us, Jose?
I am here. I was typing.
Yes.
I was letting you know that my internet had gone down, and I was typing in the chat to say internet issues. Ellie knows me and knows my channel and everything. So
she was doing it. She was already plugging you. You got it, my man.
El Tel Cacarel. What a great channel.
Let's go get him some more subs.
Ellie's one of my main guests. She comes on whenever I go on a stream. Ellie comes on, helps me out. Ellie knows everybody, helps me out. Ellie actually helps everybody out. So
I'll help you out after the stream's finished as well.
We all get further with Ellie's help. All of us do.
Yeah, I'll do my best by everybody because I love everybody, and even if we've had disagreements, I'll still help. I don't care. I'm not one to harbour grudges or anything like that. I just get on with my business and promote. But the main thing is, you can find Eltel. He's got a really good channel as well. And then with me, I'm on Wednesdays with Kate on Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. And then the big one, right? Well, it's not as big as Eltel Cockerel, but in terms of in terms of the people that watch it so far, we've been invited, myself and Kate, on Savage Show, Football Heritage TV.
That's
So
a big
that's a
one.
good
That's
one.
awesome.
I love it because it doesn't matter. You know what? If you're speaking to 50 people, if you're speaking to 500 people, you're still hitting the hearts of people who tune in to watch you on that show as well as the host, you know? And like when I go on Eltel's channel, it's fantastic, right? And we have good fun, don't we? And we're from old school as well, which
Today
you
has
are a
been
little
the
bit as well.
day for internet lagging and people and losing people. Ellie, we lost you for a second there.
Oh, you lost me. Ah.
No, it's okay.
Saying, I was just saying, like, it doesn't matter whether you're talking to 50 people or 5,000 people or 500 people. It doesn't matter, because what you're doing is you're speaking from your heart about your club that you love, and you're speaking with people that love the club too. So it doesn't
Absolutely.
matter at the end of the day.
100%. I would like
Yeah.
to completely echo that sentiment 100%. And while we're kind of on that note, I want to take the time to thank everybody who stopped by today. John Fitzpatrick, ever present. Beer Talk is a new one. Thank you again for being here. We got Wayne Bonner, who's been here from the beginning. Bobby K. We've just got a wonderful group of people that are here that have been supporting me from the beginning. We got my mom, Julie, of course, who was here for a while before. She looks like she had internet problems. She's at work, so we'll forgive her. But everybody, thank you so much for choosing to spend your day here. Yeah, Nick.
Beer Talk.
Thank you. Yeah. Yep. And
John Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Yep. Truly blessed to have all of these wonderful people watching the show. And I just wanted to say, you guys, real quick, I just wanted to say, I hope that everyone has a wonderful day today. If you can, do something nice, for a stranger. Smile at somebody who's looking down. You'd be surprised how much something small like that could really, help your day. And teaching every one of you out there, I hope that you achieve your goals today. I hope you, find happiness where you didn't think you could. I hope you find $1 on the ground. I just hope everybody has the best day possible. And again, thank you so much for being here. And with that, and we've all plugged our channels. I think that we should just say, come on, you Spurs, and
come on, you
just
Spurs.
pray we make it through this international break and we get to watch some more Ange ball, baby.
Yeah, and England are playing tonight as well versus Ukraine.
Well, that ought to be great. I'll have something to watch. I'll put that on while I'm at work. So big up, come on England, and come on Ukraine. They could use some good, some good in their lives. So hopefully it's a good match for everybody. Looks like we've lost Jose, but Ellie, thanks again for joining. I hope you have a wonderful day, and
thank you, Colin.
See you next time, friend.